Okay, it's recording.
Okay, so it says to imagine you are Merton and it's time for your 9 a.m. meeting with Tevins and Harris. What position would you advocate in that meeting? So Merton, if you guys remember, she's the safety and hygiene manager, and she gets a fax that which one was it? Was it Harris or Tevins, the supervisor? One of them wants to fire their supervisor for...
Bert Harris does.
And then who's Tevins again in this?
He's like the director. Was he the...
Okay, so the question is, imagine you're Merton. It's time for the 9 a.m. meeting. What position would you advocate in the meeting? Do you guys want me to read the facts?
I would know what position I'd advocate.
How's it going, everyone?
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, sorry, I've been in a group meeting since 7 with another class.
Unacceptable.
Your priorities straight.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's okay. We just started. Do you guys remember the fax that was sent to her? Trying to look for it.
Yeah, it's Exhibit 12. Basically, page 22. It's actually the last page, really.
Okay. I'll read it real quick. Last night, September 5th, 1991, Stepansik directed Carl Olson, an electrician, to repair an electrical conduit. The repair required Olson to work way too close to the pot line in a congested area. While making the repair, he slipped on some loose material and stuck out his hand to catch himself. In the fall, Olson suffered a second-degree burn to his hand and forearm and dislocated his shoulder. Stepansik is a good supervisor and his crew is one of the best, but this is the third incident like this in the last year. He should never have sent Olson in there without taking some precautions. I've warned Ned several times, but he just hasn't gotten the message. I think it's time to make it clear that safety violations won't be tolerated. I think Ned should be fired. I would take the action myself, but I thought you should know about it because there could be some repercussions. Ned is well liked by his people, has a young family, and comes from a long line of Alcoans. This isn't an easy decision, but I think it's the right one. If you want to talk about it, let me know. So that was the fax that she got, or the letter, email, whatever. So what is your guys' stance on it?
I know my stance. It's one of those where I think it's hard, and but I think that especially as I can't remember if that's her name. What was it? Merton. So as Merton, I would be on the same side as Bert Harris. That, I mean, this is his third incident. He's been warned multiple times, and I think one of the main reasons why they're having problems the safety down where they want it to 0 is that workers are not seeing, even the supervisors are not taking safety seriously. And, you know, they'll choose, there are certain rules that I'll listen to because I know I'll be affected, and there's certain ones that I'm okay with. And a supervisor being okay with putting his employee in a situation and not being safe, if you fire that supervisor, I think that sends a clear message that, look, we're not just asking you to be safe. We're saying if you're not safe, you're not going to work here. And it's really going to it's going to help let them know that you're serious. And sadly, Stepanik, however you say his name, could be the example of how to do that. Like this is just an example where we do mean serious when it comes to safety, and we will get rid of you if you don't follow the rules.
Okay. Does anybody else have a different opinion?
I do. I see it more as a stance of this is his third instance. If what's to say that they say we give him another chance, and then another safety issue is more serious. So that's what my stance would be on, in saying yes, he is a lifer to the company, but due to poor decisions and safety being brought up, that would be my stance on saying I apologize, but we have to let you go.
Yeah, I agree. If I may give an example, if that's okay.
Yes, of course.
Actually, are we recording right now?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, good thing. Just making sure. So I can embarrass myself. So just real quick, I worked for this company a few years ago down in Idaho Falls, and I would drive one of their trucks around and spray herbicide in people's lawns, and it was a decent paying job for a college student at the time. And I think I just by accident pulled up near someone's house and totally damaged the side view mirror against a heavy tree branch, and that was not good. And then I think a week or two later, I gotten a lady T-boned my truck, and it was technically my fault, but anyways, and so I actually, thankfully, it was like a crazy crash though, but thankfully, we were both okay, and but I was released because of that, and I was like, man, this really stinks. But I guess they're like, Robert, you're a super hard worker, but just due to poor decisions, we have to let you go because you've become more of a liability than an asset. So
Sounds like you just had really bad luck.
I don't know. I was a good worker, but I guess driving a giant truck is not my forte.
Happens to the best.
But I guess with my opinion with this, I'd say, you have to. I would let him go.
So you would back up Harris, I think it is? Or
Yes.
Yeah, Bert Harris.
The
what was
supervisor.
that? The supervisor? Okay. So follow-up questions to that is, what did Stepancic actually do, and how serious was the offense?
Good point.
Well, I would have to say that Stepancic really didn't take heed to the other three warnings to say you need to make your area safe and don't put your employees in unsafe positions. And this last one, the employee said, I don't feel comfortable working in these conditions, and he basically said, I don't care, I need the job done and you need to do it, kind of attitude, and it got somebody hurt.
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. Not only did, he's a supervisor and he forced someone to do work, and it's not like the person wasn't going to argue with them, because then not only would they lose their job, but in the end they got hurt. So I don't think that was a good supervisor thing to even do.
Well, also the fact that I don't know. I think it opens the door for lawsuits and stuff where the company could get sued for a lot of money if they have safety issues and they're not keeping their employees safe. So I think they should let him go, just so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's like what Robert said. The supervisor would become more of a liability because not only is he not following safety standards, he's also jeopardizing employees, which in turn could cost the company money in litigation.
Right.
Do you guys think it's all Stepan Sik's fault?
No.
That's one of the questions. So do you think the worker kind of had some accountability in it too? Because they're all, I guess, responsible to work safely.
Yeah, like I think the worker, the worker could have taken precautions to try to make it safe. And if he felt like it was unsafe, he could have reported that back to the supervisor saying, look, I know it needs to be fixed, but I don't think I can do it safely. I mean, if he at least voiced that, then I think that would have gone a long way rather than just go and do it.
Okay. And then what are the implications for workers, families, supervisors, and senior management if he is fired? I think someone touched on that it kind of uses him as an example and stresses the importance of how important safety is for the company and how they take it seriously. That might be an implication for the workers and the supervisors.
Yeah.
Right. If they're just sweeping it under the rug and not putting an importance on safety, then I think it affects everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you'll have different priorities. I mean, some people would see like, oh, well, only the safety administration wants to be safe, but the executive leadership and everyone else wants productivity, and they're willing to sacrifice safety for that. But if they see that, no, we're actually going to fire you if you're not doing, we mean it, because, send that clear message.
Right.
Okay. And that pretty much answers the next question, which was, what message would firing Stepan Sik send?
Good job, Austin.
Would it be fair to fire Stepan Sik considering how other supervisors treat safety issues?
That's a really good question. Because as far as I know, they weren't really making a big deal of it. But since this situation arose, they're like, "Oh shoot, we should really kind of get on the ball with this."
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a tough call, but I think if supervisors can take this opportunity to really take more initiative and really applying, everyone choose this as a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So step 2, supposed to put you guys in 3 groups, but I think we could just, let me see. What is it asking? You guys want to just do it together?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the
Can I
first
help?
one, it says to compare exhibits 3 and 7. You guys have it up.
3 and 7.
So where's my 3? And then, so we're supposed to answer the question, when safety improves, does productivity decrease? Find the data. So divide the total hours number for each period by the works total for the same period to figure out how many hours it takes to produce 1 ton of aluminum. For example, in 1987, it was So this is on exhibit 3. In 1987, it was 7,400 hours divided by 185.4 works total, which equals 39.9 hours per ton. So the smaller the number, the more productive the plant is. So they want us to do the calculation for each period. I need to get my calculator. So.
All right. I'll do 1991.
Okay, I just did 1988.
I got 1990. That goes down quite significantly.
It's the total hours divided by the works total?
Yes.
Oh, good call. I did the wrong one. 74. I was like, shoot, that's a big difference. All right, 74, 75 divided by 219.
So mine is 34.02.
What year did you do?
I did 91.
Oh, very good.
And
Oh,
then
August. Sorry, I did August.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I've got 1990 is 35.73.
okay, and then 1988 is 37.2. And then 1989 is 36.6.
Oh, okay. I just did that one. So we're just missing January through August 1991
In July 1991.
divided by. Okay, so January through August 1991 is 33.76.
And then July was the other one we were missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one's 31.9. Well, I guess you could say 32.
Okay, so the question is, what the plant is.
And
Okay.
a lower number is more effective?
Yeah. So it looks like they kept getting lower as the years progressed, which is good, except for in 91. August.
Yeah, and you can tell the reason why is when you look at Exhibit 7, you'll see that the injuries went down until like 91. They actually went back up again and then went back down a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so then that was the second part. Compare these numbers with the average safety incidents in Exhibit 7. The lower the number of safety incidences, the better. If both numbers go down, that's good. If either number is going up, that's bad. So they want us to explain the relationship between safety and productivity at Mission Valley.
So you said the lower the number, the more productivity?
Uh-huh. So, I mean, it seems to be that both numbers are going down.
Yeah, like as less work incidents happen, more productivity.
Yeah, July 91, it peaked a little bit from January through August. And then started to go back down again. So I guess we could say that it is related.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense too if you're having a bunch of work injuries that you wouldn't be as productive because people are either missing work or they're not doing their job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. Okay, now we're to compare Exhibit 5 to figure out which injury numbers are improving. So which ones are going down and which are going up.
Which injuries are up?
Do you guys see any that are, they all seem to be going down to me.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
I don't see any that increased year over year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess that's good. Okay. And then categorize the types of injuries that are improving compared with the types that are not. Be prepared to explain your findings.
That one's still Exhibit 5.
Mm-hmm. They all seem to be going down because the total number of injuries each year goes down. So
Yeah, they dropped drastically from when they started.
Yeah. Honestly, sounds like another way to reword the same question too.
I know. The only one like improper position towards the bottom in 91
Yeah.
or 90, it went up a couple injuries from 89, but then it went way down again in 91.
Yeah, and also with operating without training, it went down from the 87 to 88, but then it went up from 88 to 89, and then it like half it went half to 90 and kept going down.
What was the year that guy died?
Did he actually die?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry.
1991.
So 91.
Why do those 91s, they overlap?
Yeah, why do they have
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just put like January through June
Yeah,
instead of January through August.
that doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
I guess they want to show just July and just August for that year for some reason. I don't know. Okay.
But the July and August would be included in the first one, in the first 91.
Yeah, like that's the total. And then just in July is that many. Just in
Yeah.
August is that many. So, okay. Let's move on to the third group. It's to look at Exhibit 6 and go through the list of sample injuries, look for common themes and causes. What can you learn about safety at Mission Valley from the list? Be prepared to explain your findings.
I see a lot of slips.
Yeah, me too. And a lot of clean off chips.
Yeah.
Maybe better traction, better shoes.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of clumsiness, or just like they weren't. Maybe they were doing things like improperly, maybe, and that's why they tripped or slipped or fell or.
It's like where their work area is not ideal. Like they've got grease or water or chips or something on the floor that makes it slippery, and they always end up falling.
Yeah. So maybe that would be the start, to clean up their work area so
Yeah.
that it's more workable.
Always know your surroundings. If you know that there's, like in one of them, one employee stepped in a hole and then fell back and then stuck his hands out to catch himself and broke his wrist. This is know your surroundings and what's in your work area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that seems to be the trend then, slips and just not being aware of surroundings. Anything else?
No.
Okay. So now, okay, so it's kind of wrapping up from each group because we were supposed to split in groups, but so it says ask each group to explain their findings. Group 1 should discover that as safety goes down, the number of hours to produce a ton also goes down. In other words, as safety improves over the long run, productivity also improves. So we pretty much all came to that conclusion. Are we surprised? I don't think so. That kind of makes common sense. Did you think productivity would go down with increased safety? I don't think any of us thought it would go down, right?
No.
I can
Okay.
see why some people might think so. Just think they might be able to do their job. It'll take longer to do their job, basically.
Yeah.
Is this the one where they slowed down the speed on the machines or whatever, and they thought that it was going to slow down productivity?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an example.
So yeah, I could see why maybe some people would think that, but
I think a lot of the people were just so seasoned in their jobs, so any changes like that made them feel uncomfortable, like exactly that, like it would slow down the way they are currently do things.
yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Why do you think productivity actually goes up? And then it says, groups 2 and 3 should both notice that problems that can be solved by spending money have mostly been solved. In these areas, safety has increased. The problem Mission Valley still has is people. The common injuries include mistakes made by people, which you guys said that too, just not knowing your surroundings and careless mistakes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, what do you guys think? Which type of problem do you think is easiest to solve? The ones that are expensive or the ones that involve people's behavior, and why?
like the expensive ones are the easiest ones. People's behavior. That's a hard thing to change. You have to really show them and get buy-in from everyone in all the departments. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. What challenges are Mission Valley up against?
Meeting a pretty high quota from their CEO, wants a 80% close the gap in production, but then also wants injuries to go down to 0.
Yeah. Seems like the goal is very aggressive.
Yeah, you can't be safe if you're doubling or tripling production and then expect to have 0 injuries.
I agree with that. That totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think also getting all of the employees on board, making sure they're practicing safe working habits and not just the ones they want to pick and choose. Okay. What has Mission Valley done in the past to improve its safety record so much that they have so few serious injuries compared with other similar companies?
Hmm.
They definitely changed some work processes, like make it so they really looked at the way work was being done and what could they do to make it safer. And even the little things, like we had the example of lowering the speeds on those forklifts and making these changes so that it's going to be a safer work environment versus others that may just simply say you need to work more safely, but they don't actually make the changes structurally. They don't change the lanes where people need to go or anything about the building.
Yeah. Okay. What are specific things they have done that are successful? So I think specifically after that one accident, when they did the investigation to figure out what the causes were, that's when they put in specific actions to correct that, where they painted the pedestrian and vehicle paths, made the truck motors go slow. I think it was like 4 miles an hour.
They changed
Sure.
where the walkways were, so they were behind barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And they started using cranes instead of forklifts.
Mm-hmm.
I thought one was interesting is they actually started making sure that binoculars were put down so that people could use the binoculars to view gauges and not have to climb up to go view them in person.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
It's an easy fix that kind of takes some creative out of the box thinking.
Okay, and then what will doing more of those things help them move the rest of the way towards their goal?
I would have to say that they started after the investigation. They made all those safety adjustments, and they're continuing to make those changes. And if they continue to train and let all their employees know this is what's going on, these are the changes, and if they continue to do that, then they'll continue to get better and recircle of as few incidents and reportable injuries as possible.
Mhm. And then what are the challenges for the future?
I think making sure that the workplace is still safe and maintaining your strict workplace guidelines, but still exceeding and meeting your production quotas is going to be a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No.
Okay. And then these are just some follow-up questions to that. How would you convince people to behave differently? Or what would motivate workers to want to be safer?
I have a great example.
Okay.
Since my day job is Walmart, I know what the store has done in the past is they motivate us with food. We'll say, okay, you guys go, I don't know, like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days accident free, then you get this type of food. So it's like, oh, 120 days you get steak. And it's like, sweet. I remember we did like 90 days and it was like burgers and pretty much a free awesome lunch. And I was like, heck yeah, I'm all about being safe. I get free meals. So
Food is a good motivator.
it's a fantastic motivator.
Yeah, my work does. If we have 365 days of a non-recordable work injury, then we get a big lunch barbecue during the summertime.
Yeah, so those are good examples of ways. I think any kind of incentive like that makes people more aware of it and more on board.
Yeah, especially because that makes it so that other people are like, don't ruin this for us.
Yeah, exactly. What can we learn from the incident with the forklift speed limit or the wedding ring? I don't know. I think we kind of already talked about that.
Yeah, it's just what causes things to happen.
Yeah. Okay. How can you address a culture embedded in a strong community and history?
That's a good.
It's a tough one.
That's
A lot of these guys, engineers, and have been there for 15, 20 years.
That's the thing. Like when you got a workforce that's been there for a long time, you got to get the people who are well respected and leaders on board, knowing that many of the others will follow because these people are well respected and been there for so long. You know, if they're doing it, then it sounds like it's the right thing to do because they look up to them.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm supposed to ask you guys whether you always follow safety procedures. Do you wear seatbelts?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
I do, because my car yells at me if I don't.
I know.
It just beeps forever.
This one is a hard one, but do you guys avoid texting in dangerous places? I guess
As much
in
as
the car
possible.
would be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I get caught with the text to speech, where I feel like it's okay because I'm speaking and not texting.
Mm-hmm. But then you have to go back and correct it when it doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
that spells everything wrong.
Mm-hmm. Do you cross at crosswalks?
Yes.
Usually.
Sure.
Use a ladder instead of a chair.
I usually use the chair.
Yeah, I use a chair because I don't have a ladder.
Yeah, chairs are more accessible. You drive the speed limit. That's the big no for me.
No.
Yeah, I was
That's a
gonna
big no
say,
in
yeah, I like
Arizona.
the speed.
Time efficient driver.
That's what I tell myself.
So if we don't do some of these basic things, what would get us to change our behavior? I guess if we get hurt, or someone close to us gets hurt.
A lot of speeding tickets will change your how fast you drive your car.
That is true.
That's the thing about, like, in Oregon, you could go 5 miles over, you're fine. 10 miles over, you're getting a ticket. In Arizona, I'll be going 10 miles over on cruise control and the cop will pass me.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if the cop pulled me over and said, how fast are you going? And I told him, and I'd almost be like, why now? Like, what's changed? Like, I have no idea what on earth. I would feel bad because it's just never happened.
So cops don't pull you over in Arizona?
I mean, probably for 15 or 20, but for 10, they pass you right over. They pass you right by.
Well, that's nice because I'm moving there in a couple months. That's good to know. Not inferring that I speed a lot, but just saying.
Okay. Now move the discussion toward Linda's plan for 1992. Ask the team to go through each item on the list and talk about, each item. What item? Which list are we looking at? Was there an exhibit with her plan?
It might be Exhibit 8.
Exhibit 8?
Yeah, Exhibit 8 has like an 8-step wheel.
Oh.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's like a good plan.
This actually mirrors my safety program at work.
There you go.
Because with me being a government subcontractor, we live and breathe safety.
I think, is it Exhibit 11 though? Because it says Summary of Safety Department Plans for 1992.
Could be it too.
Monitor complete implementation of recommendations on falls. Establish reporting procedure. Provide detailed tracking and report. So is there anything on this list that you guys think, or anything not on this list that could be added to help them meet their goal or improve safety?
Me personally, I think that no, because they've covered everything. You have a plan, and it's especially training everybody, and then you have a recognition program and that awards safety. So it's basically self-explanatory in its words.
Yeah, there's a newsletter, monthly meetings. It seems like they pretty much covered it all. Okay. And then last thing, brainstorm ideas for how to change culture and attitudes about safety at Mission Valley. Some suggestions to help are you could ask whether the fact that almost everyone in the whole town works at Mission Valley creates any opportunities. Are there ways to involve the community and families? I guess they could do, like, for the recognition part, with their with the program, they can invite, like, if they do like a picnic or a dinner, it could be one where they invite their families to it. I don't know. That might get expensive, but
It is nice. They're all in one area. I mean, it makes it really easy to do something like that. Very tight-knit community and workforce.
Mm-hmm.
okay. I think we covered everything, guys. Last question is just, what did you learn from talking about this case that would apply to future workplaces? I don't know, it's hard for me because I don't work in an environment like this.
Yeah, I don't
So
either.
where it's very accident prone.
At a call center where, heaven forbid, a chair runs over my finger or something. Nothing, nothing could happen. So
It kind of reiterates to me that in my line of work that with our contracts, our safety people are doing it right.
That's good.
Yeah, because we work with heavy machinery and lifting and all that stuff. So
That's good. It makes you recognize what your company is doing well.
yeah.
Well, and also from this,
What a-
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying what a mess theirs is, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, I don't necessarily work in an environment that is, like this, but I do work for a company that they are outside and they are construction workers. And we don't really we have like a safety manual that, is handed out and suggested for people to read. But I was thinking that we don't have very many issues with safety. And so I wonder, too, like the incentive thing that I never thought of before. We do have a decent amount of incentives, and I wonder if that is why we don't have as many issues, And when there is issues, those people probably are in fear of fired. So.
Okay. All right, guys. Does anybody have anything else to add?
Nope, not me.
Alrighty. Do you want to stop the broadcast then?
Yeah.